And I don't want to act like I don't know anything, because you don't get to be this age and haven't learned something. All right, my plane ride out here, y'all got to help me. Because here's the weird thing as a comic, you don't know if something's funny or not until you try it out on somebody. So I was thinking there's got to be some things you do know. So I'm going to call these the facts of life. That's nothing to do with sex, just things you know. Facts. All right, here's a fact of life. If you want the phone to ring, sit on the toilet. My phone won't ring all day long. I sit on the toilet and starts, and then you get your pants around your ankle. And you never make it in time, you check caller ID, it's a toll-free number. All right, here's another one. Here's a fact of life. If you are trying to get to the bathroom in an emergency situation, unbuttoning your pants in an effort to save time is not a good idea. Because the muscles that guard the floodgates take that unbuttoning as a sign to abandon their post. And the 4 seconds you saved unbuttoning are nullified by the hour and a half you spend mopping and doing a load of laundry. Oh, 2 for 2, I'm so happy. Fact of life, the insanity of the person driving the car is directly proportional to the number of bumper stickers on the back of the car. Am I right? Doesn't matter left wing, right wing. When you pull up behind a car with 25 bumper stickers, you're like, somebody's avoiding them at the family reunion, I guarantee you. Fact of life, the more kids you have, the worse your parenting becomes. People with 1 kid are making homemade baby food out of organic vegetables they grew in their own garden. By the time the 4th kid comes along, you're drinking a beer while you watch your toddler pull a milk dud out from under the stove and eat it. Fact of life, the length of a woman's nightgown is directly proportional to the length of her husband's nose hairs. We're a little iffy over there. Fact of life, if you agree to follow somebody in your car going somewhere you have no idea where you're going, that person will run every yellow light and change lanes like somebody on the world's scariest police chases. It could be your 80-year-old uncle. When you agree to follow him from the church to the reception, he suddenly becomes the Dukes of Hazzard. He's like jumping creeks and turning corners on 2 wheels. All right, fact of life. Hopefully this is, I just think if my family does it, we're not the only ones, so we'll find out. Fact of life, everybody on the planet, no matter where you live, no matter how much money you got, everybody has a junk drawer in their house. Okay, I've never been to your house. Let me see how close I come. Within that drawer, there are an assortment of screws and paper clips, 6 rubber bands, 2 marbles, 5 AA batteries you don't know if they're good or bad, 10 pizza coupons, all of which have expired, a broken garage door opener, 2 packets of soy sauce, some cough drops, a tube of glue Superman could not get the top off of, and 1 lens from a pair of sunglasses. Good, okay? All right, here we go. 37 cents in change, including a nickel with a hole in it, 3 birthday candles, a checkbook from a bank you used 10 years ago, a combination lock that is locked and you do not know the combination to it, 7 keys that go to God knows what, the light bulb from a flashlight, 6 business cards from people you don't remember meeting, a picture of somebody's gap-toothed kid in a cap and gown, 1 shoestring, directions to a coffee maker you no longer own, a bullet, a keychain your kid made that was too ugly to actually use, 3 Tic Tacs, a piece of string, and a dead roach laying on its back with its feet in the air. Is that pretty close. And there's always like one of those stubby screwdrivers with paint on the end of it too, that you could use if you remembered it was in there, but you never did. All right, here's the last one. Fact of life. Everybody over 50 thinks the world is going to hell in a handbasket. And it's our own fault. Because, and we didn't start out to do this, but we may go down in history as the worst generation of parents to ever live. It's because we have hovered over our kids so much, we've left them incapable of doing stuff. I'm telling you.
And kids are great for a comedian because kids are funny without even trying to be funny. My wife and my mother-in-law had ordered bathing suits through the mail order, yeah. So the bathing suits arrived. They're trying them on. My mother-in-law walks out in her bathing suit. My youngest daughter looked at her and said, "Gamma, you shouldn't draw on your legs with a blue magic marker." Needless to say, I had to mop up the milk I had been drinking because it was on the other side of the room, which is pretty good distance through your nose. That's gonna sting a little while.
But in conclusion, let me share one comedy road story with you about me. So, COVID started in 2020. So the summer of 2019, Larry, the cable guy, and I were doing a bunch of dates together that summer. And when you do summer dates, they're almost all outside. You're either doing amphitheaters or country music festivals or, fairs. You're always outside and you get used to being hot. We did a music festival in Phoenix. It was 112 when we went on stage. And the promoter was trying to make us feel better. He goes, "Come on, fellas, it's a dry heat." I said, "So is the electric chair. It's 112 degrees, so." But I don't sweat very much. I mean, you can say I don't sweat when I'm up here. And so we do this show one night in the South. I'm not even going to say the name of the city because there may be a computer genius here that can get the footage of this. But we did a show one night, and it was not only hot, it was humid as rip. So 10 minutes in the show, I got sweat dripping off my nose onto the stage. 20 minutes in, looks like a wet t-shirt contest. By the end of it, I look like I've been sprayed with a fire hose. I've never sweated this much in my life. And we usually don't eat before a show because it makes you feel kind of sluggish, so we're always hungry, when we get off stage. So I get off stage that night, and I'm in the dressing room, and I'm just pounding Gatorade and water trying to rehydrate. And I hear Larry, the cable guy, coming down the hall, and he slides into my dressing room. He's like, "Hey, let's go eat." And Larry says this a lot. And I usually go because it's fun to watch Larry eat. It's impressive. But I said, "Dude," I said, "not tonight." I said, "I got too hot. I'm not hungry." I said, "I'm just going back to the hotel and going to bed." He's like, "Yeah, right. Come on, let's go eat." I said, "No, I'm not hungry. I got too hot. I'm not kidding with you." He goes, "Are you serious?" He goes, "I cannot wait till you ask me to do something for you." What are you, 9 years old? It's not personal. I got too hot. I'm not hungry. So I got in the van. I got him to take me back to the hotel and got in my room. And probably a lot of y'all make your living on the road. You have your little routine. When I'm on the road, I like it really dark when I sleep. I like it really cold, so I'll turn the thermostat down. But when you're doing stand-up, you're in a different city every night. Every hotel room is different than the day before. So one of my tricks is I always turn the light on in the bathroom, and I'll shut the door. But that way, if I wake up in the middle of the night and I have to go, I can see that light. I know that kind of orients me, and I know where I am. And I usually sleep in my underwear, but this night they're wet. My socks are wet. I've sweated that much, and I'm like, I'm not sleeping in wet underwear, and I told you I only packed 3 pairs, so I just peel them off, and I flop in the bed naked, and I'm out. Well, I wake up about 1:30 in the morning, and I really, really have to pee, probably from all the Gatorade and the water. And any guy over 40 knows what I'm talking about. You have to pee too much to go back to sleep. you know you can't go back to sleep, but you don't really want to wake up. You just want to get it done and get back in the bed. So I get up and got my eyes half open. I see the light and I walk in there. Well, as soon as the door closes, I realize I'm in the hall of a really nice hotel without a stitch of clothes on. And you want to wake up in a hurry, forget coffee. This is the way to do it right here. So I'm trying to think through it. Well, Larry's room was right across the hall from mine. And I'm thinking, thank God, I run over there and I'm knocking on the door and he's not answering. And all I can picture him peeking through the keyhole and laughing. But as I'm knocking on the door, I hear the elevator ding. And I'm like, okay, well, I got a 50-50 shot. They're either going to get off and go the other way, or they're going to get off and come towards me. And sure enough, these two Korean guys, they're talking with each other. They get off and they start walking right towards me. And I'm like, what do you do? What do you do? And I'm like, you act like nothing's up. That's what you do. So I start walking towards them. Literally past them in the hall. Hey, how you doing? And one of them said something, which I really hoped meant, wow, that was impressive. But when I looked it up on Translator, I found out it meant, did you see her mustache? So I know I can't get on the elevator. I know elevators have security cameras. And I'm thinking, where do I go? Well, at the end of the hall, they had that exit, for the stairwell. And I'm like, at least get out of the lighted hallway. So I jog down the rest of the hall and I get in the stairwell, hoping there'll be like a trash can in there where I can take the trash bag out and wear it like overall. Get in the stairwell, no trash can. But at least I'm not in the lighted hallway. And as I'm trying to think through it, I noticed there's a couple of empty beer cans down in the corner. Well, the reason I got up in the first place was I had to pee. I have no idea how long I'm going to be locked out of my room, and I'm not proud of it, but I picked those cans up and I peed in them and I put them back. I felt horrible about it, but it was old Milwaukee, and I figure whoever cleans them up will go, yeah, that's old Milwaukee, all right. But it was a really nice hotel, and they had 24-hour room service. So my thought was, well, maybe somebody's left their room service tray outside their room, and I can get that big cloth napkin and wear it like a diaper, So I'm going down the stairwell, and every floor I'm opening the door and looking down the hall for a tray. And I get about 3 or 4 floors down. I hadn't found a tray yet, but somebody's left a couple of pizza boxes outside their room. Well, to me, it looks like a folded tuxedo sitting there. So I run down there, I get the pizza boxes and I bring them back, and I go down the last 3 or 4 floors and never do find a room service tray. But by now it's really late. It's like 2 in the morning, and I get to lobby level. Well, I can crack the door and I can see almost the entire lobby. I don't see a soul. I don't hear anybody talking. I'm thinking, all you got to do is be brave for 20 seconds. I put 1 pizza box in the front, 1 in the back. Walk up to the desk, the lady's working there. As I go up, she looks up and she goes, can I help you? Yes, you can. I said, I have accidentally locked myself out of my room. Can I just get another key so I can get back in? She goes, do you have any identification? I said, I do, but it's in my other pizza box. I'm like, no, I locked myself out of my room. I got nothing. And she says, I need to talk to a manager. And she goes behind the wall, and I'm thinking, she's not calling a manager, she's calling the cops. But it's 2 in the morning, I'm naked with a pizza box in front of my junk, where am I gonna go? Yeah, so they had a bellhop stand, like a podium, and I got behind that, and I'm just waiting on her. Well, as I'm waiting, all of a sudden the front doors to the hotel open up, and in walks Larry the Cable Guy and our tour manager. And I'm like, thank you, God. Here's answered prayer. So they walk across the lobby. Again, I'm naked holding a pizza box. Larry does not say, oh my gosh, buddy, what happened to you? He looked at me. He looked at the pizza box. He goes, I thought you said you wasn't hungry. Just been sitting down here naked eating pepperoni in the lobby, you know. I said, I locked myself out of my room. Well, about that time, here comes the front desk lady back, and now she's got a security guard with her. I said, Larry, I need you to do me a giant favor. I said, tell her who I am so I can get a key and get back in my room. And he looked at me. He looked at her. He goes, I have never seen him before in my entire life. And he got on the elevator and rode up. Thankfully, the security guard started laughing. He recognized both of us. He was one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life. He got the magic key. He rode up the elevator with me and the pizza boxes, and we went down the hall. He let me in my room. I said, wait here. I went in and got my wallet. I gave him a $100 bill. I said, thank you so much. Please never tell anybody about this. And now I'm telling y'all for free. But I got back in my room, I put my sweatpants on, put a t-shirt on, made sure I had that room key in my pocket, and I waited about 10 minutes, and I walked back across the hall and knock on Larry's door. He opens the door, he's still laughing. He's like, he goes, I told you I couldn't wait until you asked me to do something for you. I said, all right, you got me. I said, are we even? He's like, yeah, we're even. I said, well, just to prove I don't have any hard feelings, I went and got you a beer. Thanks, y'all. God bless you. Thank you for being here.
Boy, this kind of caps off the perfect day being back here today. I had the greatest day today. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, the Victoria's Secret catalog came in the mail. A free home-delivered catalog of women in their underwear. God bless America right here. I knew it was coming, too, because the mail was about 3 hours late, you know. Have you seen this thing? Some of this stuff is so skimpy, Victoria doesn't have a whole lot of secrets left. You give a couple of guys one of these catalogs, we're fascinated. Oh, Mike, come here. Look at this. That has got to hurt like hell right there. Like wearing a big string. Seems like every time you bowl, just cut you right in two. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, I'd much rather look at the catalog at home than to go into the store. I mean, because if you're a guy, you do feel like a pervert when you're in the Victoria's Secret store. You feel like the girls behind the counter have the sex offender catalog and they're just trying to match your picture out.
Sally, look at the guy with the panties on his head. That is the same guy.
I learned something in the new catalog, too. Victoria's Secret makes men's underwear now. See, I didn't know that. Well, see, my only thought is, please, dear God, keep it simple. Nothing fancy, nothing like those teddies, that combination bottom and top. Can you see men dealing with this? Look, Frank, I'm not saying it ain't pretty, all right? I just wouldn't wear it fishing if I was you. I tried that last month, spent the whole day just cast and tug. Cast and tug. My wife is as pretty as anybody in the catalog. Of course, now, she doesn't think so. You know, beautiful girl, you hear her describe herself, it sounds like bearded goat woman from hell. If she looked like that, I'd chain her up in the garage, charge $3 for people to look at her. Now, stand back. This is scary stuff. I'm not kidding. That is my wife. Now, give me the money. See, but she's smarter than I am because she takes so long to get ready, but no matter how late she's running, she knows how to keep me running just as late. This is her best trick right here. When she's putting on this eye stuff, I have no idea what this is, but look. You're not wearing that, are you? No, I ain't wearing this. Just what I'm wearing while you're getting ready. Well, see, being a man, we have no idea what's wrong with it. We'll try on everything we can find. What about this, baby? A sweater and a bathing suit. What do you think about that? Hold on, I got more. I'll be back. And you got to watch out, too, guys, because women will get rid of your clothes when you're not looking. My wife just gave my favorite shirt to the Salvation Army because she said it was out of style. Which is ridiculous because I was watching Bewitched last week and Larry Tate had on one just like it. It amazes me. As little as men know about fashion, girls, you still ask our opinion about stuff. We'll be ready to walk out the door. My wife say something like, honey, which earrings look better with this, the white ones or the black ones? I'm like, oh boy, I got a 50-50 shot at this. Say the white ones. The white ones? Now I've got to change this blouse. Never leave this. Well, see, I mean, men just don't care as much. Yeah, you never see a guy picking up his buddy to go fishing at 5 o'clock in the morning going, dang, Bill, you ain't gonna wear that shirt with them shoes, are you? It's after Labor Day, for crying out loud. We don't do that. See, and I do believe the sexes are equal. I just don't think they'll ever be the same. Like, great example. Say a guy gets a phone call from a friend of his. He hadn't talked to him in a while. A man will answer the phone and say something like, hello? Wally, you ugly old bald-headed pervert. Where are you, idiot? But you never see women go, hello? Janet, you fat pig. And talking about friends, and women know this, men are like little kids. You can't let us out to play with our friends because we never come back when we're supposed to. Oh, you get 2 or more men together, we can't tell time anymore. Baby, we'll be back by 5:30, 5:45 at the latest. And then we come rolling in like February. See, men know our friends are going to get us in trouble. That's why they're our friends. I mean, you ask a female to describe a friend, you get an answer like, oh, she's the best. You need to talk to somebody. She is always there. You ask a guy to describe a friend, you're going to get something like, oh, he's a great friend. He'll come get you out of jail at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, it's not really true, because if he was a great friend, his butt would be in jail with you. Sitting on a cot smoking a cigarette going, she didn't look like no cop, did she? Hi, how you doing tonight? Let me start off by telling you, this is my real voice. You're not having a hee-haw flashback. This is the way I really talk. I am from Atlanta, Georgia. I don't live there now. I moved to L.A. a couple of years ago, and I never thought I would leave the South. But I started doing a little TV and getting on the air, and then my kinfolk said, Jeff, move away from there. And can't believe you laughed at that, honestly. What can I tell you is going on with me? I just found out 2 months ago I'm going to be a father for the first time. I'm really excited about that. Thank you. When my wife finds out, she's going to kick my ass, I swear. Now, she knows, believe me, she is going through some physical changes. Now, she is wearing the bra from a Camaro now. You know? Not just for the support, but it keeps the bugs off her blouse. I've been married about 6 years. I love my wife to death. I like women a lot. And I don't know a whole lot about you girls. I seem to know little things. Things like I know if you give a woman a little basket of seashells, they're going to put them on the back of the toilet. I do know that. I don't know why, but that's where they go. They go on the back of the toilet. You never see a toilet on the beach, but you will see a beach on the toilet. And if they don't have real seashells, they buy the fake soap ones, but you're not supposed to wash your hands with them. This past January, I drove cross country with my wife. I learned something on that trip. A woman's job on a long trip in the car is to sleep and control the heat and air conditioning. Every time I try to sneak the window down, she wakes up and goes, roll that up, I'm cold. It's like, why don't you hold a pan of muffins so we'll have something to eat when we get there? 5 days of hardly saw her. She was buried under all these jackets and blankets. Once a day I'd hear her voice, where are we? We're in hell. That's where we are. We're in hell. Just crossed the river Styx 2 miles ago. Now, the only fun I had on the whole trip was knowing everybody that passed our car on the right-hand side was laughing their ass off at her doing that open-mouth jello neck head bob. They're laughing at you and you don't even know it. And don't get me wrong, you need a woman on a long trip in the car. You need them. Because they always have food hidden away and they can keep you alive. Well, see, men don't want to stop for food. Men don't want to stop for anything. Because men want to be able to get there, to walk in the front door and go, made it in 5 hours, 18 minutes. Three minutes faster than last year. Didn't even stop for gas. Pulled up behind a tanker truck. We hooked up with him. Had the kids pee out the window, and here we come, buddy. Thank you very much. It is nice to be back here. As Charlie said, I did write the book, You Might Be a Redneck If. In fact, I have to tell you, this summer I was working in Oklahoma. A guy brought one of the books to the show. The book was real beat up, and the guy came up to me. He said, sir, he said, I keep this on the back of my toilet. Would you sign it? I said, well, if you'll hold it, I'll sign it. But for those of you that may not know if you're a redneck or not, they asked me to do a few to try to help you out. Things like if you own a home that is mobile and 14 cars that aren't, you might be a redneck. If you take your dog for a walk and you both use the tree at the corner, you might be a redneck. If you refer to the 5th grade as my senior year, you might be a redneck. If you prefer car keys to Q-tips, you're grown, but you know what I'm talking about. If the most common phrase heard in your house is somebody go jiggle the handle, you might be a redneck. If you've ever taken a beer to a job interview, you might be a redneck. If you see a sign that says say no to crack and it reminds you to pull your jeans up, you might just be a redneck. And trust me, I know about rednecks. In fact, this summer I did something I'd always wanted to do. I cashed in a ton of frequent flyer miles. I took everybody in my family to Hawaii. 13 people, thinking this would be the vacation of a lifetime. It ended up being the Clampets go to Maui. Because you get my family together, there is an empty Kmart somewhere. They show up at the airport, they are using coolers and grocery bags for luggage. This guy kept like, which one's yours, the Samsonite? Like, no, sir, we got the Igloo with the duct tape on it and the 5 Piggly Wiggly bags right there. And on the plane ride over there, the movie they were showing was Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. 5 minutes into this movie, my brother turns to me and goes, you know that ain't them dogs' real voice. My sister got mad. Well, thanks for spoiling it for everybody else. And we were staying right on the beach. You could tell which rooms were ours. Ours were the ones with the underwear hanging off the balcony. And according to the manager, the site of the only peeing for distance contest they had ever had there. Which I am ashamed to say my Aunt Rose won in the second. My family, they don't go to hotels much. They stole everything from this place. When you get out of the shower, you are using toilet paper to dry off with because they have the towels in the Piggly Wiggly bag. One day, one of the maids went to lunch and left her cart in the hall. Lord, they were on that like buzzards on a mule carcass. Picked it clean. I asked my brother, I said, what are you going to do with 180 shower caps? He said, Christmas presents. Then his wife got mad. Well, thanks for spoiling it for everybody else.
Like a lot of women, she takes a long time getting ready, but she's smarter than I am, so no matter how late she is, she can keep me right there on her schedule. This is her best trick right here. You're not wearing that, are you? No, I ain't wearing this. It's just what I'm wearing while you're getting ready. And being a man, we have no idea what's wrong with it. We try on everything we got. What about this? A sweater and a bathing suit. What do you think about that, huh? I got more. Hold on, I'll be back. It amazes me, as little as men know about fashion, girls, you still ask our opinion about stuff. We'll be ready to walk out the door. My
my wife would say something like, honey, which earrings do you like better, the white ones or the black ones? Oh, hell, I got a 50-50 shot at this. I'll say the white ones. The white ones? Now I've got to change this blouse. No! Never leaving this house. Crap, I got to shave again. When we're men, we just don't care as much about how we look. You never see a guy picking up his buddy to go fishing at 5 o'clock in the morning going, damn, Bill, you ain't gonna wear that shirt with them shoes, are you? It's after Labor Day, for crying out loud. She worries about stuff. She has things in that bathroom, the vault, I call it, because the door's always shut and whatever goes on in there costs a load of money. I snuck in one. She has things on one shelf for dry skin, oily skin, chapped skin, combination skin. Have you ever known a man with combination skin? I mean, let's say somewhere out on the construction site. Hey, Donnie! Drop the hammer! Come in a trailer! Now, Donnie, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but you have dry cheekbones and a greasy forehead. It's combination skin, Don. Well, I didn't want to say anything, but the men been laughing at you and calling you Mr. Flaky Face. Same thing with smell. She asks me every day, do I smell good? Like the way I smell? See, because if men have an odor, it's usually an accident. Charles, what is that alluring fragrance? Oh, that's Michelob. I hit a bump in a truck. Both sexes care about smell. They do, but women will go to trouble to smell good, and men are more like, hey, does this stink too bad to wear one more time? Maybe I should put it in the dryer. I think women feel a sneeze coming on. Every time before my wife sneezes, she reaches in her purse, pulls out a tissue. See, men have no idea we're going to sneeze. We could be riding a bus somewhere and be like, oh man, I'm sorry about your shirt. You can put that in the dryer, that'll be all right, yeah. God bless you, take care of yourself.
Talking about going to family weddings. Last family wedding of hers we went to, her cousin got married in Baton Rouge, where LSU is, so we went down for that wedding and for the rehearsal dinner at Hooters. If I'm lying, I'm dying. And our waitress that night was qualified to work there. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure she was on a scholarship. But the first time she walked up to the table, my wife's Uncle Don looked at her and went, woo, where'd you get them things, girl? I thought, oh, she's gonna get mad. And she didn't. She was very cool. She said, I bought them. Well, then Don's wife, Lois, said, you know, I've been thinking about buying me some. And Don turned to Lois and said, you are 62 years old. You getting a boob job would be like hanging a new chandelier in a haunted house. This is the blood that flows through my children. And when we went to that wedding, we spent 5 days with my wife's mom and dad, which on life's list of fun things to do comes in right below sitting in a tub full of scissors. And everybody here has family like this. You have people in your family, you love them. You love them to death. You just don't do real well when you have to share the same house, because your lifestyles are different. And that's the case with my in-laws, because they're getting on up there. They're in their golden years. And see, I'm out late at night doing this kind of thing, and bless their heart, it's all they can do to stay awake through the Wheel of Fortune. You're at their house, you watch American Idol, you feel like a hellraiser. It's 9 o'clock, we're still up, we're crazy! But because they go to bed so early, they get up early, which is fine. If like normal human beings, they would drink coffee and read the newspaper. That's not what happens in the nut house. My father-in-law, who is retired, who has nowhere to go, gets up at 4:45 every morning of his life. He then walks into the den and starts watching the Discovery Channel at a volume normally reserved for movie theater sound commercials. So you're lying in bed, the sun has not thought about coming up. All of a sudden you hear,
like other predators of the plains, the jackal subdues its victim by clamping its neck and slowly squeezing the life from his body.
You're in the bed going, you know what, that ain't a bad idea. And it's a weird sensation to be mad and learning at the same time. Second morning we were there, I learned everything there was to know about the African willow fly before I had even peed. Do y'all know that fly only lives 28 hours? That's his entire life, 28 hours. I'm lying in the bed thinking, boy, you only live 28 hours, you can't afford to have a bad day. What happens if you get involved with a girl that wants to take it slow? Baby, we're going to be dead in 3 minutes. Spread your tiny wings and fly away. And when we're at their house, we always have to sleep on the fold-out couch. Boy, that's a good night's rest, isn't it? Get that one iron bar under your skull, one under your hip bone, and that last one under your ankles. Sleeping on that thick, thick mattress. I've eaten bologna thicker than the mattress on the fold-out couch. And boy, they keep that house a little warm. The inside of their home is about the same temperature as the bottom of a rocket when it's this high off the ground. And they walk around in sweaters. Is anybody else cold? Is it just me? Is anybody else cold? Hell, I'm naked on the tile bathroom floor, gasping for air. Well, I remember when I was in the 4th grade and the firemen visited our school, they told us that's where the last oxygen would be, right there next to the floor. I'm in the bathroom so long, my mother-in-law's beating on the door. Do you need a Correctol? You eat too much cheese. And I'm not making fun of old people. I really am not, because I think that's the goal of everybody here tonight. We all want to live long enough to someday be an old person, don't we? I not only want to be an old person someday, I want to be a burden to my children. Oh, I know the day's coming, my kids are going to be on the phone with each other going, it's your turn to take Daddy for a while. Oh, he's making those noises, he doesn't even know he does it. If you don't come get him, Carl and I are going to get a divorce. It's going to be your fault.
Oh, and trust me, I got rednecks in my family. I got an uncle, every time he gets in and out of the car, he climbs in through the driver's side window. The door's not broke or anything, he just likes to pretend he's a NASCAR.
That you look at and you think, that's the kind of man I want to be. Might be an uncle, might be a grandfather. You know, I was lucky. I had a really good grandfather. Never told me he loved me, but I know he did because he took me everywhere he went after my dad left. But you look at the men in your life that you go, that's the kind of man I want to be. And I will be willing to bet you every single one of them was not a self-focused person. I bet every single one of them was others focused. They didn't think about what they wanted. They thought about what other people needed. I grew up in Hapeville down by the airport. I was really lucky. That was the only Chick-fil-A in the world for decades. Had no idea it would become the phenomenon it was. But I was lucky to grow up around Truett Cathy, who started Chick-fil-A. And Truett was one of the wisest men I ever met. And he used to ask me when I was a little kid, he would look at me and he'd go, Jeff, you know how to tell when somebody needs encouragement? I say, no, sir. He goes, if they're breathing. He goes, everybody needs encouragement. It doesn't cost you anything to give it to them. No schooling, no money. And so I learned at an early age, be an encourager. If you walk into a place and the homely little girl running the cash registers there go, oh, I love your hair. That's so pretty. Doesn't cost you a thing, made her day. Made her day that somebody saw her, that somebody noticed. And so my whole life, I'm like, crap, Mr. Cathy, that's a great thing. And what it does is it teaches you to see the good in things instead of the bad in things. You know, being a mental guy, when I get up in the morning, I pray two things to God. I'm like, A, let me put on the slippers of gratitude. Let me not take for granted that I have something to eat, that I got a house, that I got a bed, that I got a car. 5% of the people in the world own a car. If you own a car, you're in the top 5% of the world. Something like 11 billion people will never take a hot shower one day in their life. If you took a hot shower today, you beat those 11 billion people. And so you start looking at those blessings. You know, you start looking at a holly bush and go, why does a holly bush have red berries? And God goes, I just did it because I thought you'd like it. They look real good against the green. Did that for you. And you start seeing blessings everywhere. That's what being an encourager does. You start seeing the good all around you and just realize just how lucky we are. We had no control over where we were going to be born. We had no control over what the color of our skin was going to be. We had no control over who our parents were going to be. But the fact that we live in this country and we're able to go out tonight and assemble and actually talk about the Creator, there's so many places in the world you can't do that. So we're blessed. We're really blessed.
And you know what's funny is it's like in our country, you could be part of a group that you don't even know you're a part of until you see something about it on TV or read something about it somewhere. And one morning I'm reading an article in the paper and it's talking about the Oreo generation. And what it was talking about was people like my wife and I that waited until our mid-30s to have kids. It said you end up kind of being an Oreo because you're raising your children at the same time your parents in their advancing age are kind of reverting back to childhood, and so you got them on both ends. And I thought about it and I looked at my wife and said, you know what this means? This means we got two that are out of diapers and two that are going into them. And as bad as it was with the little ones, I don't think it's going to be any more fun with the big ones. I don't want to be sitting there watching football with my father-in-law going, Ed, don't you lie to me, Ed. But I got to thinking about this. There's a lot of similarities between kids and seniors. Like they both get discount ticket prices at the movie theater. They both have their own special menu in restaurants. You have to worry about both groups taking drugs. Because it's not just kids. Seniors get a hold of some good stuff. Last time we were with my in-laws, I mentioned that my sinuses were kind of stopped up, and my mother-in-law said, do you want to stop the sniffles or not feel your head? She goes in her purse, pulls out a Ziploc, looks like it has Skittles in it, takes out a tiny green pill and says, say hello to my little friend. I took that thing, I woke up 2 days later laying in the backyard talking to Elvis. She's at the door going, get up, you baby, I take 4 of those and drive to the grocery store. The kids don't listen to you, the seniors can't hear you. My mother-in-law has a hearing aid that she hardly ever wears because she thinks it doesn't look good. Which, as we all know, is the reason they give you a hearing aid. But you can tell when she's not wearing it because if she doesn't have it in, she talks louder than anybody on the planet. One night they come to visit around Christmas time. We go to the movies one night. Standing in line at the movie theater, she tapped me on the shoulder and said, don't look now, but the man behind us is cross-eyed as a bat. Which is bad for two reasons. One, you are embarrassed to death. And two, when somebody says something like that, you gotta look. Yeah. Turn around, this guy is glaring at me. Well, he may not have been glaring at me, but he was glaring at somebody. And you know what's funny is it's like in our country, you could be part of a group that you don't even know you're a part of until you see something about it on TV or read something about it somewhere. And one morning I'm reading an article in the paper, and it's talking about the Oreo generation. And what it was talking about was people like my wife and I that waited until our mid-30s to have kids. It said you end up kind of being an Oreo because you're raising your children at the same time your parents in their advancing age are kind of reverting back to childhood, and so you got them on both ends. And I thought about it, and I looked at my wife and said, you know what this means? This means we got 2 that are out of diapers and 2 that are going into them. And as bad as it was with the little ones, I don't think it's going to be any more fun with the big ones. I don't want to be sitting there watching football with my father-in-law going, Ed, don't you lie to me, Ed. But I got to thinking about this. There's a lot of similarities between kids and seniors. Like they both get discount ticket prices at the movie theater. They both have their own special menu in restaurants. You have to worry about both groups taking drugs. Because it's not just kids. Seniors get a hold of some good stuff. Last time we were with my in-laws, I mentioned that my sinuses were kind of stopped up, and my mother-in-law said, do you want to stop the sniffles or not feel your head? She goes in her purse, pulls out a Ziploc, looks like it has Skittles in it, takes out a tiny green pill and says, say hello to my little friend. I took that thing, I woke up 2 days later laying in the backyard talking to Elvis. She's at the door going, get up, you baby, I take 4 of those and drive to the grocery store. The kids don't listen to you, the seniors can't hear you. My mother-in-law has a hearing aid that she hardly ever wears because she thinks it doesn't look good. Which, as we all know, is the reason they give you a hearing aid. But you can tell when she's not wearing it because if she doesn't have it in, she talks louder than anybody on the planet. One night, they come to visit around Christmas time. We go to the movies one night. Stand in line at the movie theater. She tapped me on the shoulder and said, don't look now, but the man behind us is cross-eyed as a bat. Which is bad for 2 reasons. 1, you are embarrassed to death. And 2, when somebody says something like that, you gotta look, yeah. Turn around, this guy is glaring at me. Well, he may not have been glaring at me, but he was glaring at somebody.
I don't know why my wife continues to ask every year, what do you want for your birthday? What do I always want for my birthday? What's every man in here want for his birthday? The same thing every woman in here doesn't want for her birthday. Never one time has my wife said, you know what, this year, forget the flowers, forget the presents. Why don't you just lock that door and take me to Squeal Town? But it's what every guy wants. You could be visiting your 90-year-old grandpa in the nursing home and be like, happy birthday, Papa. Is today my birthday? It sure is. Well, help me get my pants off. I don't know why a dog can eat his own vomit, gobble up cat poop, and lick his rear end for hours and be totally fine. But if he eats half a candy bar, he dies. I don't know why in 2023 we still have jobs that we will call men's jobs or women's jobs. Like if there's a noise in the house in the middle of the night, whose job is it to go check out the noise? It's the man. Let's be, yeah, you never see this. Phyllis. Phyllis. Run downstairs, see what that noise was. Hey, bring me back a piece of chicken, okay? Now, if there's a noise in the house in the middle of the night, it is the man checking it out. In his underwear, carrying a baseball bat. Because that is the official uniform of suspicious noises, underpants and a baseball bat. I don't know what we're hoping to find. Some guy in the living room in his underwear with a ball. And my dad didn't even need the baseball bat, because my dad wore those gigantic boxer shorts that were always gapped open in the front. That gap was like a taser to a thief. Shut the gap, shut the gap. Here, take my wallet, just shut that gap. I don't know why every time I get great tickets to a concert, I always end up being seated next to somebody that has to sing every song at the top of their lungs. So several years ago, Simon and Garfunkel came to Atlanta. My wife wanted to go. She had a couple of friends that wanted to go. Well, my mother-in-law wanted to go. Quick backstory on my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law has hearing aids that she refuses to wear because she thinks they don't look good. But because she doesn't wear them, she can't hear a lick. She talks louder than anybody on the planet. One night, around Christmas time, we go to the movies. We're standing in the long line at the concession stand. My mother-in-law walks over to me and goes, "Don't look now, but the man behind us is cross-eyed as a bat." Which is bad for two reasons. One, you're embarrassed to death. And two, when somebody says something like that, yes, you've got to look, you know. Then I'm like, turn around, the guy's glaring at me. Well, he may not have been glaring at me, but he was glaring at somebody. So we go to Simon and Garfunkel. Somehow I end up being seated next to my mother-in-law. She doesn't have the hearing aids in. She sang every Simon and Garfunkel song, and she knew the words to none of them. Like a witch over Bubble's daughter. Or you can, I will grease your pine. Grease your pine? That's what you got out of that?
You know, actually on the last special, we listed all these ways for people to tell if they were a redneck or not. And then I come to Texas and people are going, "You left a bunch of them out." So we'll do round two for you here. See how many people qualify.